Right, looks like we are live and ready to go. Good evening, everybody. Bit of a different time of the week for me. It's Monday evening, and I've got my mini class from January to share with you all. Yes, I know it's February, a little bit late, but better late than never. We had lots of shipping issues in January, so it's meant a little bit of a delay to this, but thank you so much to everyone who's been super patient and understanding. It's made my job a lot easier, and I'm really grateful to you all. So I can see lots of people joining. Evening to my ladies that are going to craft along with me, and hi to Donna, who's watching all the way from Australia. Lovely. A warm welcome to you. So just a little bit of background before we get started. Each month I run 2 classes. I run a mini class where we make 4 cards using a limited set of products, and I also run a monthly product class, which is a little bit more involved. We make 6 cards, or maybe 4 cards and a couple of 3D items, and you lose a little bit more product. So this is my mini class, so I will be live doing these instructions each month. It will usually be the first Saturday morning of every month, but we've had a little bit of a delay, as I've explained already. So we're going to make 4 cards that I've already made in advance, and I am going to talk you through these cards step by step. And for those of you that are crafting along at home with your kits, I hope you enjoy the cards. So I'll turn my screen around and we will make a start. So just bear with me. Okay, here we go. Right, so we're going to be using the products from the Forever and Always bundle, and we're going to be using the True Love DSP. So those of you that have got kits at home, I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you've got your bickies and a cup of tea. I have given you all instructions beforehand, but if you haven't prepared anything, please don't worry. This will all be shared with you afterwards as well on YouTube to watch back whenever you can. So an idea of what you get in my kits. This is a mini kit, for example. You will have some cardstock and card bases. You will have some DSP, and you'll have a little packet of die cut pieces. So you will have everything you need to make the cards. Now these are the cards that I have made for you all, and they're all black and white because the DSP is black and white, but I'm going to add some colour to mine as we craft along, just to show you what you really can do with these papers. So I've used the gorgeous DSP. There's a lot of fussy cutting in this class, and you've got these gorgeous dies that layer together beautifully. So we will make a start. I'm going to make them in the order that is on your email. So to start with, we are going to make this card. Okay, just going to move some things around. Right, so for card number 1, this is my lovely little instructions. Really professional, aren't they, ladies? So we are going to need a Whisper White card base, which you will have that's been pre-cut, which we have here. We have the True Love DSP, so you will have 6 sheets of True Love DSP that are 12 inches by 6 inches. It's half a sheet in theory, and they're all these lovely black and white monochrome florals and then background patterns. They're really special. Okay, so for this card we're going to need this lovely diagonal stripe, which is here. Okay, so we can do a little bit of cutting. I haven't cut anything in advance because I wanted to show you how I kind of do my cutting as well. So the True Love DSP, the black and white background with the white diagonal stripes, we need to cut that measures 10 centimetres by 14.4. So the easiest way to cut this is if you pop it in your trimmer so that it's landscape, line it up at 10 centimetres and cut. Okay, and this is how I would get the most out of this DSP. And we'll line up at 14.4 and cut. Okay, we will give our little card base a little fold, and then that piece gets stuck onto our card front. Okay, we then need some basic black cardstock, And the basic black cardstock needs to measure 9.5 centimetres by 13.9. Okay, so again, to get the most out of this cardstock, we're going to line it up at 9.5 centimetres, so we've got the short edge along the top of our trimmer. Okay, and cut, and then we're going to turn, line up at 13.9 centimetres and cut again. This then becomes our piece, our layer for the front. So we're just going to see a little bit of background of that DSP, but I think the diagonal stripes really suits that, and it's just a little bit of pattern. We don't want the pattern to overwhelm. And then from our little pack of die cut pieces, I have the same as you guys. I made sure I gave myself everything so I didn't have to cut whilst we were on video. So I'm going to need this lovely die cut shape. This is from the Stitched So Sweetly dies, and then from our words we have a background in basic black, and then we have the detailed word in white. I'm just going to put those bits up out of the way. That's it. So let's put these together. Oh, thank you guys. I can see a few comments popping up. That's really nice of you. I really enjoyed making these cards, and I found the papers really easy to work with. Sometimes taking the colours away completely can be a little bit off-putting, but I do enjoy monochrome patterns. So this for me really spoke to me. So we have our lovely layers, and then we have our die cut piece. Now I'm going to stick our sentiment on first before I attach it to my card. So we're going to take our background and we're going to pop that on with some wet glue. So this is going on flat. Okay. Oh, Liz, bless you. I'm in bed right now, but I have the set, so we'll take some inspiration. It's my favourite sweet. Oh, I'm really glad, Liz. Not that you're in bed, but I'm glad it's you like this sweet. I hope you've had a lovely day with Samuel today. Okay. Now these letters, when I first cut this, I thought, oh, the L, it's broken. It's come away from everything, but it isn't. It's meant to be separate. Okay. So let's pop out our little pieces. And then we can stick that on. So Baz has said if you don't have the DSP but you have the stamp set, could you use the flowers and leaves? You most certainly can, my lovely. So I'll show you a little bit more about the stamp set in a second. Let's just stick this down. So that's stuck down like so. Now if I bring in the stamp set, this is the stamp set that coordinates with these dies. And so you also have the stamped Love and Always that the dies match. You also have these lovely add-on sentiments. So love you so very much, you more, together with, my whole heart, forever and. Really useful sentiments. And then you have these beautiful flowers where, if you look closely, match the DSP. So absolutely, Baz, if you don't have the DSP but you have the stamp set, you could absolutely recreate these designs. It's just about how you layer things together. So great question. Now for this card I've added the sentiment you. You find a block. It's the only thing I don't think I got out when I was getting ready. So before we stick this onto our card, we're going to stamp this sentiment underneath. So the options really are endless with this set. And we'll just stamp that about there. Very cute. So we can now go ahead and add that to our card, and we're going to add that with dimensionals. I am using mini ones. I'm waiting for my normal size to arrive. But the best thing to do when you add these, because we're going to layer things in and around that die cut piece, I would stick to adding your dimensionals just in the centre of this piece, because otherwise you won't have room to slide things kind of around. Okay, we're going to pop that on our card kind of in the lower section, and just so that it overhangs on the right hand side. Okay, now we've done that, we can choose some flowers. Now I have gone ahead already, so that you don't have to sit and watch me fussy cut. I've gone ahead already and I've cut out some of these flowers in advance. Now these flowers, because you only have half a sheet of each piece, let me grab my piece and I will explain what I mean. Some of your flowers will go off the edge, but actually that's absolutely fine, because what we're going to do, and this is what I've done, we're going to tuck those flowers underneath so that you have no idea that that is been cut from the edge of your cardstock. So there really is no waste. So go ahead and cut out all your pieces, cut out everything you can on that sheet. Okay, so I'm just going to find the one that I have used. It's here. So this is the biggest flower, and I'm going to pop that on flat. So I'm going to add a little bit of wet glue, and we're going to tuck that in behind our die cut piece. Okay, some really clever layering. And then let's take some other flowers. So this one here I can put on like so, and that's going to go on top of that die, and then we just need one to go along the edge. So let's see what I've got here. So this one here is from the edge, so we can just turn that around and slot that in like so. And this is where I think some of your cards will be quite different, because you'll all use different pieces, and it's part of the beauty of this set. Okay, and then this one, if I want to tuck another one in, I don't have to. We're just going to trim that down so that it fits, and slide that in like so. If I wanted to, I could by all means leave that off, and I think I will. I've used a bit of a bigger one on this one here, but actually I'm going to leave that as it is like so. Okay, onto the front of our card I've added a couple of little gems which are also in your little pack. These are the basic rhinestones. So I tried to include a little selection of things. Because it's a mini kit, I want to keep the price quite low, so you get to really sample a few different things. So I try to include just what you need rather than lots of different extra pieces, which is what you would get in the monthly product class. Okay, so inside we need to decorate, and I am going to bring back in that piece of basic black cardstock, and I'm going to cut that down. So this already measures 9.5 centimetres, so I'm going to turn that round and cut it down to 13.9 centimetres. Okay, and then we need a piece of basic white, and the measurements, I always take my layers down by 0.5 centimetre. So this one needs to be 9 centimetres, and again, to get the most out of your cardstock, I've got my short edge at the top of my trimmer, and I've lined it up at 9 centimetres, and I'm going to cut the whole strip. Turn that round and line it up at 13.4 centimetres and cut. Okay. Layer these pieces together. Like so. That in the centre. So there's quite a lot going on with these cards. They're quite thick cards when they're all together. So there we have our finished first card of this class. We've got our DSP underneath, we've got a lovely layer of basic black, we've got our sentiment with our that's added to our die, and then we've got these lovely flowers cut from the DSP layered in and around. Okay, and then inside we've just got a little bit of extra detail. Okay, so that is card number 1, all done. I'll pop that over there. Have a little clear down. I'm going to try and keep things organised tonight. Whether or not that will work, I have no idea. Okay, so card number 2, similar style. We're using these beautiful flowers again. Different DSP in our background, and some more lovely layering. So we've got our die cut piece, it's our scalloped rectangle, and that is also from the Stitched So Sweetly dies. We've got another background in basic black, and then we've got Love that I've cut out using the silver foil paper, just for a little bit of sparkle, because who doesn't love sparkle in their life? Okay, and then the DSP that I've chosen for my background is this one here. Okay, so this is a black background, and it's got little white diamonds on it, and then on the back you've got some real busy flowers. Okay, so we need to start by cutting 3 little strips, and we're going to work in centimetres, and the 3 strips need to measure 14.5 centimetres by 3.3. So the easiest way to do this is to put the long edge at the top of your trimmer and then cut your 3.3 centimetre strips, the width first. So we'll have 1, we'll have 2, and we'll have 3. Okay, pop the rest to one side and then trim these down so they measure 14.5 centimetres. So you're just cutting off a teeny tiny piece, but rather than cutting that little strip off the whole sheet, again, we're being quite economical with that DSP, and I'm showing you how to get the most out of what you've got. Okay, so that is our cutting. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Right, oh dear, the internet today is just not playing ball with me at all. Hello! Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry everybody. So for those of you that don't know, I'm at the bottom of the garden, and I'm in a building that my husband built for me. It's my studio, it's my haven, but for some reason today the internet has been all over the place. So I'm so sorry about that, but I'm back, so let's hope it lasts. And we'll kind of start where we left off and hope it stays. The joys of 1, living in a really small village out in the sticks, and 2, just the Wi-Fi just being all over the place at the moment. So sorry about that. Right, so where did we get to? We're making card number 2, which is this one, and we've cut 3 strips of our DSP that measure 3.3 centimetres by 13.5 centimetres. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to arrange these on our card front so that there is a little bit of a gap between each piece, and when I say little bit, it really is little. There's not much white space showing at all, but the best way to start is to start one side, okay, and then just work your way along. Okay, for those of you that are crafting along at home, what I will do is when I upload this to YouTube, I'll stitch them together as one video, so you won't have to watch two different videos. Okay, so there we have. So there's probably only 1, maybe 2 millimeters between each one of these pieces. Okay. And it's just another way of using DSP on your card and creating sort of texture. Okay, so this piece, our die cut piece, I'm going to stick down again completely flat with some Tombow, and that's going in at the center of our card. Just line that up. Lovely. Okay. We can then pop on our die, or you can leave it and put it on afterwards. Now, at the beginning of my last video, which some of you were watching, you would have heard me say that because you have half a sheet of this DSP, some of your patterns go to the edge. So they're not wasted pieces at all. It's just a different way of how you use them on your cards. So for example, all I've done, these are pieces that I've cut off the edge. So I've used them, but I have just layered them on the edge of that card. Okay, so this is where your cards will be different, because some of you will have different patterns on the edge of your cards. Okay, now if for example this one here, there is no edge, all I would do is I would pop that in a little bit off the edge, and then we'll trim it so that it fits. Okay, these we're going to stick down with dimensionals so they're nice and raised. Okay, this one looks like I've tried to use it already for some reason. You will add more dimensionals than I'm adding. Apparently poor weather conditions affecting internet, and Debbie's local to me as well, so oh Debbie, things are sent to try us, aren't they? But hey, my lives are getting quite eventful, so it's all part of the fun, isn't it? So then now I have this piece. Yeah, let's add that one. Okay, so again, add some dimensionals underneath. Like so. And then this one, there is an edge to it, but I'm going to just tuck that in a little bit further, like so. And then if we turn the card over, you've got some bits that overlap. Just trim those off so you can make it fit. Okay. So those are our lovely, lovely flowers. I do like these flowers. Okay. And now we know we've got plenty of room for our die. So let's stick this on. We'll stick the black outline down first. Okay. And just tuck that in so that it fits nicely around your flowers. Oops. Okay. Pop out any of your inside pieces if you have any. So there we have our love stuck down, and then we need to do the rest of our sentiment. So for this one I've used Love You So Very Much. So let's just pull this out. Some of you may not have this stamp set, and that's absolutely fine. You can use any sentiment from sets you already have. You could trim down some of your sentiments from ones that are perhaps a bit different and just make it work. Okay. So we will give that a little stamp, and I'm stamping on basic white with a black ink pad, so sticking with that monochrome pattern. Okay, perfect. And then trim that into a little strip. You can add this as a strip, or you could cut your words down individually and use them that way. It's entirely up to you. And then here, so now this is where you need to be a little bit creative, because where I've stuck my flowers, where they're different to this one, I've not got as much space. So I'm actually going to stick this down so that it overlaps those flowers. So the way to do that is take a little dimensional and pop it down here, and then add it like so. Okay, so that's how I've been a little bit creative with my sentiment, but it's still in the same place. And then inside our card we've got a little bit more detail using that DSP, because we have plenty of it. So here we're going to use the same sheet of DSP, which is our black background with our white diamonds, and we're going to cut a piece that measures 10 centimetres. So again, being economical, I've got the long edge at the top and I'm cutting 10 centimetres. So I have that piece left now, so that's easily a background for another card, and I've got 14.4 centimetres. Okay. And then a piece of white needs to measure, you get this right, 9.5 by 13.9. So again, taking that down by ½ centimetre each time to get my layer 13.9. And then we can layer all of this together. Down in the centre so you've got that nice border showing again, and then this piece can go inside the card. Now if you wanted to, you could by all means add one of your little flowers in the card. So this one here, for example, is cut from the corner. So to make that work, all I would do is I would line that up in the corner of my inside piece to make that work, okay? Or you could add one of your edge pieces just to give it a little bit more detail. Like so. Okay, so that is our second card finished this evening. Really like that one. I do love the way the DSP sits on that one. Okay, so let's pop that out the way, and we're going to bring in our third card. So we are halfway through, ladies, our card class this evening, and we're going strong. Well, I hope we're going strong. So for this one, we're going to use our last white card base, like so. We're going to use a few different pieces of DSP. We've got the black background with like a white squiggle on it, and then we've got the white background with the black dots. Okay, so let's make a start. Pop the card base out of the way because we don't need that right now, and let's cut our layers. So the first layer we're going to cut is our black background DSP with our white squiggle. Again, thinking economical, long edge at the top. We'll line that up at 10 centimetres and cut. and then we'll turn that round, line it up at 14.4 centimetres and cut. Okay. So that is our first layer there. Okay. Our next layer is a basic black cardstock, and we have quite a bit of this left over. So for this one we need to cut a piece that is 9 centimetres by 13.4. So the easiest way to cut this is to turn it so it's on its side and you've got the long edge at the top, line it up at 13.4 and cut, and then turn it round and line it up at 9 centimetres and cut. So we've got a few little pieces left over, and then we want our white and black spotty DSP. So this one, again, we're taking it down by not quite half a centimetre, we're taking it down by 3 millimetres. So this is going to be 8.7 centimetres and by 13.1 centimetres, like so. Okay, so let's take our pieces now and we can layer these together. So white card base, just fold in half, run your bone folder along to make that score line nice and crisp, and then add your DSP. Like so. Okay. Then we have our basic black cardstock layer. That's going to go in the centre. So you just see a little bit of that DSP now showing, and it's amazing when you cover the centerpiece up how it just changes the way the DSP looks. Okay. And then you've got this lovely white and black spotty DSP. Like so. Okay. Now from your little packet you're going to need a black heart that's been die cut for you, and that's been die cut from the Stitched Be Mine dies. You have a white outline of love, and then you want the black detailed part of the letters. Okay, so we're going to pop our heart down with some dimensionals, which are here. And again, because I'm going to layer some pieces under it, I'm sticking my dimensionals just in the centre. So I'm not using many at all. And then the heart is going to overlap all of that DSP on the edge, but obviously not go off the edge of the card. We can stick this piece down. I'm sticking this down first because I want to make sure we've got room for this, and then we layer our flowers around it. Okay, so that is going to go down like so. Pop all your inner pieces out from your die. Okay, and then stick this down. And it's up to you how much glue you put on. Now, if you were die cutting these out yourself, or if I was die cutting them before I'm using them, I would use the adhesive sheets when I die cut them, so that they become like stickers. I'll show you that at some point during another live, but these are all die cut in advance. Okay. Really love these letters. Okay. For this one I've used the extra sentiment that says "you more," but you could use whichever one you wanted to. Let's bring in "you more." Okay, I'm going to use this piece, and just onto a piece of your white card that you've got left over. We're going to stamp that and then cut it down into a little strip. first I wasn't sure on the sentiment, the font in this stamp set, because it's quite bold, but actually I think it goes really nicely with the kind of script look of the dies. Okay, and U More is going to go across there. Now this is where you have a choice, and I don't always give you choice, but I am giving you choice this evening. You have this sheet of flowers as well as the sheet we've been using. Okay, so now it's your choice to decide which sheet you want to use. So on my design, my sample card, I've used this sheet here, but you also have this sheet as well. So there's 3 different styles of flowers. I'm just going to get the other one. So the other style of flowers is on the back of the dotty. So it's entirely up to you which one you use. Now I haven't actually got any of this one cut out, so to save you watching me fussy cut, I'm going to use this one. Okay, or we could use this one. I actually think they're too busy. I think they're too big personally, so I'm going to use these ones. Okay, so all I do is I'm going to layer these around underneath that heart, and this is why we've only put those dimensionals in a little area of them. Okay, and then we're going to put that down. Now the trick with these flowers is to not glue the whole thing down, because that way you get a little bit more texture in that it's stuck down, but they're lifted slightly. So I think it just helps with that, the look a little bit more, and just add something else to the card. So to finish this card front, I've got a couple of little gems that I'm going to stick on, and I'm just going to put these at random. I find it quite hard to be random, but I'm getting better. Okay. So there we have our next card front done. Inside this card we've got a little bit more layering, so let's bring in that last piece of basic black cardstock, and that needs to measure 9 by 13.4. Okay, so 9 by 13.4, and then we want a piece of Whisper White, or basic white, sorry, that measures 8.7 by 13.1. So let's see if this is big enough. It is 8.7 by 13.1 centimetres. Okay, so we'll layer these together. Put that inside. So on my sample card, my black layer is a little bit bigger, but that's an error, because actually the black layer in the card I've made this evening on what matches your instructions is the same layer. The dimensions are the same as the layer on the front, so it just matches a little bit more. Okay, and then to finish, just add another little flower. I haven't got another one of those cut out, but I will do that afterwards. So that is card number 3 finished, and then we have our final card. Can't believe we're on the final one already. So this is the final card, and I actually cased this card. Case means to copy and selectively edit. I cased this from a card that I've seen online, because I absolutely fell in love with it, and I'm starting to use white on white a little bit more. I think it's really elegant, and I haven't added an extra sentiment to this because I didn't really think it needed it, but it's your card, so you do it as you would see, as you would like it. Okay, so we're using our last card base, and our last card base is Smoky Slate. So we'll give that a little fold and score. And then we want our spotty DSP back again. Let's find it. Where are you? No, that's not you. Here it is. So our spotty DSP needs to measure 9.5 by 14.4 centimetres. So I've got my long edge at the top of my trimmer and I'm scoring the 9.5. I'm going to turn and score it at 13.4. Okay. I then want a piece of basic white, and this needs to measure 9 by 13.4. So we've got 13.4 by 9. So these pieces don't really layer up at all, but what they will do on our card, we're just going to put them at different levels. So the first piece we're going to add is our piece of spotty, and I'm going to put that in the corner so that it's just a little narrow border of that smoky slate cardstock showing through. Okay. So that is there like so. And then our whisper white piece we're going to put on so that it's in the other corner. Okay. So just another way to use layering on your DSP, and this technique works really well if your pieces of DSP and card are different sizes. So you could use scrap pieces if you've got them left over to make a few other cards. But yeah, it's just another way to get more out of that cardstock. Okay. Now you have left over these 3 always words. Okay. Now again, this is your choice completely, whether you use just one or you layer all 3 on. Okay. So the first one I'm going to put at the top, but you'll notice that I've cut off the edge ever so slightly. So all I'm going to do is just trim off a bit of that sentiment so that that can be added. Like so. It would help if I trimmed it off so that it's straight. That's better. Okay, so let's just pop this on. I'm just using little dots of my Tombow so I don't overdo it. And then we can add that to our card like so. Just hold it down in place. That's it. Okay. The next one we're going to add a little bit at an angle. Okay. So this one is going to go just there like so. You could, if you wanted to, add them all in the same way. But I'm just adding mine at different kind of levels. And this is one of those cards that I saw it once and then I've never been able to find it again. So I definitely did see it. I didn't imagine it. But yeah, I really did see it online and thought, oh wow, that's lovely. I'm going to make that. Now this one, this side, when you've got it off the edge like so, just trim off the excess. Okay, and then our last one, like so. I'm going to just move it over again. Oops, I've got my little piece there. And I'm going to stick it down flat. And I'm not going to trim this one because our DSP, our flowers that we're going to cut from our DSP will cover what we need it to cover. Okay, like so. Now we're going to take one of the flowers from this piece and I'm going to sit and fussy cut this out. And I'm going to take the one that's in the corner. If you don't have one that's in the corner, which some of you very well may not, you can by all means make it fit. And what I mean by that is you would stick that down like so, turn your card over and just trim along those edges so that it's then looking like it's in the corner. Okay, so let's just trim around these. When I cut these out, I do leave a little white border rather than cutting on that image line. Just trimming around these. Okay. And then now we're going to pop that on just like so. And we're going to add this with dimensionals. Oh, hi Louise, thanks for joining us. That's okay, it was a random one. So this is my mini class that I run every month. So this is January's mini class, a little bit delayed because of shipping, but going forward all my mini classes I will be demonstrating live rather than filming tutorials. So this is my January mini class, and we've used the True Love DSP and the Forever and Always bundle. So my little always there is just hanging off the edge. I'm just going to snip that off like so, and then what we've got left is the inside of our card. So let's open that up, and I've used a little bit more of that spotty DSP. Bring my trimmer back in. And the spotty DSP needs to measure 7 by 14.4. So let's go for 7 centimetres by 14.4 centimetres. And then the basic white needs to measure 9 centimetres by 13.4. So let's do 13.4 by 9 centimetres. Okay. And then again, it's just about that really clever layering inside your card to make it work. So we've got that piece that we're going to put towards the left hand side, and then this piece goes down in the middle. Like so. And then I need to cut one more flower off the edge. So let's cut this one out. Around. So you can see there's quite a little bit left over. I'll show you exactly what you've got left, or what I've got left over in a moment. And then our lovely little flower is going to go on the edge of that white DSP, sorry, that white card, so that it overhangs a little bit on the bottom. Okay, so there we have our finished 4th card of the evening. So that completes our card class tonight. So this was my mini card class for January. Each month I will do 2 classes, and each month we will make 4 cards. The tutorials will be live like this, and then people will be sent the recordings afterwards, so watch out for that in your inbox after this. So just to recap, these are the card designs that we made. So 4 cards in total, like so. You will have left over quite a few bits. So I've got a whole sheet of this left over, but actually you won't, because you've used the flowers as your accents to your cards. So you'll have a little bit left over. I've got this sheet left. I have this much of this sheet left, and I have this much of this sheet and this sheet. Okay, I've also got left over some white card, so you've got a little bit there to make a few extra pieces. You could also, if you wanted to, carry on cutting out those flowers to add as accents on your cards, other cards. And then I did say at the beginning about I would show you how to add colour to your pieces. So just very quickly before you go, to add colour to this DSP, I would quite simply just colour them with my Stampin' blends. Okay, so I've just chosen my favourite Magenta Madness at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to colour this in just really super quickly. You could use watercolour pencils, although the DSP probably isn't that porous. You could use Stampin' Right markers, you could use anything really. And then just to fill that in, I always use the shading that's on the DSP already. So I've gone in with my light to start with, and then I am using the dark just to bring out some more of that shading. And I'm going to colour the centre of this one in pink. Okay. So just keep going over until you are happy with what you have got. It would be really nice to colour a whole sheet of these in different colours and then cut them out to use as different accents on your cards. So that is my light one. Okay, and then I'm just going to go in with a little bit more around the edges. So this is just a really quick demonstration. Okay, like so. So there's a little bit of shading on there. And then for my leaves, give a little colour. This is Old Olive, my most favourite colour for leaves. A little bit more shading on those leaves. So I always tend to use the light followed by the dark, and then I'll go over with the light again just to blend those sections in. So there we have our little cards now, and then when you add that to your card, it changes the whole look of these cards by just adding a little splash of colour, and I love these cards for that. I love this DSP. So if you look at it on this one, just adding that little splash of colour just lifts everything. So if you're not a fan of monochrome, of black and white, and you wanted to add a little bit of colour, the options are wide open for you. So I've used Magenta Madness and Old Olive there, but yeah, huge options for colours, and I hope you enjoyed it. So just have a quick read of the comments. These were amazing, 4 beautiful cards. Thank you, fabulous cards. You're so generous with the DSP and card. You're very welcome, Anne. I'm just glad you enjoyed it. Loving crafting along, and I've kept up. Well done, Mum. I'm impressed. Did you tell everyone to fussy cut the DSP before the class? I don't think I did, no. I need to check back on my instructions. I don't think I did. People did have pictures of the cards beforehand, so I think if I didn't say it, they may have been able to kind of put 2 and 2 together and think, oh, that's where she's got that from. But the flowers really are personal, because there are 3 different style of flowers on that DSP. So some people may have gravitated towards one pattern than another. So yeah, that's it, me done for this evening. My next mini class will go on sale on the 1st of March. So look out for that. If you'd like any more information about my classes, please do get in touch. All of this information will be on my blog in the next few days. And that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's crafted along, who's commented, who's followed. It's been lovely to spend some time with you, and that's what I wanted to achieve with these classes. I wanted to spend a little bit of time with people, and I look forward to the next one. The mini class is £7.50 if you are local to me and can collect. I live in Lower Howstow in Kent in the UK, or £10 to have posted to you in the UK. And includes everything that I've used. The only thing it won't include is any stamped images. So for example, these stamped sentiments I've used here, they aren't included, but I try not to do too much stamping in my mini classes. So that's it. I'm going to sign off now, guys. If you have the kits, I will get the recording sent to you after this. And if you've got any questions, let me know. Thanks everyone. Take care now. Bye.